Hi everyone, this is Christine. Welcome to my channel. Bear with me, I'm in shock right now. I am dealing with a huge development in my son's case, and I don't, I can't even, I'm just in shock right now. I'm literally in shock. I wanted to really get on and keep my commitment to myself to make sure that I post whenever the energy is there. So I really wanted to talk about how desperation can destroy you. And I think that's what's happening with my son's case. I think I won't speak too much on it. I will just say what happened with the YSL case is a perfect example of why it's so important to make sure your faith is unshakable. Make sure your confidence in what God is capable of doing for you cannot be broken. I wrote a crime story. I became an investigative journalist and I wrote a crime story. And the first subject of my story is a man who's serving 10 years in jail for defending himself. He was being threatened by somebody that used to be a friend. And for whatever reason, the man just started trying to kill him and his family. Like he was really in danger for his life. And so he was a convicted felon, he was a justice impacted person. And so he finally caught this person off guard and shot and killed him. He wasn't arrested. He wasn't arrested at the scene. He wasn't arrested until 2 months later when his primary witness was murdered. This is my first story out. This is my first real story as an investigative journalist. And I uncovered a story where a man is doing 10 years in jail for defending himself. Part of what I found out when I was speaking with people in the community and when I was talking to his family members and when I was reading the court documents, what I found out is he had witnesses to this event. He had people backing him up, even though the person, his main witness, person who was there that night, was murdered. He had other people in the community who were willing to come forward and say what was happening, but he got scared. He got scared, and what is so crazy is that he believed because he was a felon that he was going to do 10 years anyway, just for having a gun. But the reality is, one of the young men who got released tonight, and it might sound like this man got 10 years, but he didn't. He got 2 years served and 8 years on probation. So he was sentenced to 10 years, but it wasn't in prison. Putting out the message that, oh, this person is getting 20 years, this person is getting 10 years, without really knowing that, no, these people are going home, that helps to aid in the fear that these people are able to ignite in the public. Nobody in the YSL case, except for the one young man who was basically pleading guilty and is going to do time in prison. He pleaded either right before Young Thug or right after, but Nobody's doing any serious time. Nobody's getting convicted and doing 10, 15, 20 years to the door. They're not doing that because the evidence wasn't there. The evidence was not there. And I know that there's so many people that hate sitting on a jury. Guess what? If you don't sit on a jury, who will? The people who are sitting on these juries are making sure that the state has the evidence that they're claiming they have. You cannot have a just system unless you have a jury that's going to pay attention and demand that the state prove its case. And in so many ways, like we are shown that you must be a person of faith. Now, there are people who God reveals things to them, God performs great miracles for them, and it does nothing for them. They don't get more faithful, more confident, more strong, more anything. Those people are there to serve as a warning to us of what you can become, of who you can be, how you can stunt your own growth if you don't understand that it's bigger than what you can see. Don't ever judge by appearance, even when it comes to someone's physical whatever. No, that's one of the things that God is in the Bible. They talk about how God is not a judge of appearance. Judge God is not a man that he would judge by appearance. For so many years, I was taught that meant God didn't care if you were rich or poor. God only cared about your heart. And that's what the scripture says. God cared about your heart. But if your heart isn't full of courage, if your heart isn't full of trust and knowing, then what does God have to reward? I am so thankful that God has taken me this path, because in any other circumstance, in any other situation, I would have operated from a place of fear, and I would still be paying people thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to do something that I know now a human being is capable of doing, and that is learning the truth and standing on it. What has happened in my son's case tonight, what we have discovered, it can only be desperation. There is no other definition. It has to be different. It has to be desperation, because I cannot imagine why anybody would do something so stupid. And when you looked at the YSL case and you see the state putting false evidence, and the state acting like they don't know the law, and the state putting forward witnesses that are unprepared or drunk or whatever, and you see these people and you're going, for some people they were going, all of these people are scared. They're just scared to testify. YSL is a real gang. They're going to be killed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, then your evidence should be stronger than a person's word. Your evidence, when you say all of these people, 20-something people, orchestrated this crime ring and had murders all over Atlanta, which in certain parts of Atlanta, this was supposedly really true. But where is your evidence? And if they didn't actually have the evidence, is it true that these gang members were really responsible for it? Or was it someone else? Was someone else doing all these killings and all these shootings? If you didn't have the evidence, what was really going on? If there weren't receipts and video footage and all of these things that you claimed was this huge criminal enterprise, who's really doing all this killing? That's what we need to be asking ourselves. I don't I don't expect for anybody to believe me on my word about anything, because what I'm experiencing now is something you have to know. You have to understand what this is on the deepest level. When I say I never judge by appearance, and God has taught me to do this, and I have been broken from being judgmental, period. It is judgment. It is us thinking that we know what's going on, or us thinking that we understand what's happening, or us calling something bad or calling something good, or telling ourselves, we have we have the right to be able to say what something is. That's what's creating this. That's what's created this situation where you have people spending millions of dollars to prosecute a case that they apparently had no evidence of. And we're voting these people in over and over again. We're voting these people in. How is this possible? How is this possible? It's so important that we really understand what is going on here. You don't just vote people in just to be doing something, just to say, I voted, I did what I'm supposed to do. No. If these people were trustworthy, you would not have the Justice Department saying, you all need to clean that jail up or we're going to sue you, which is exactly what they said 2 weeks ago. And I don't want to make this all about the jail. It's not all about the jail. It really is about what is what is happening, that we have people lying in our face and people act like it's normal. It's it's just, I don't know. I just I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that I'm in a position to understand that it's not about what you see. It's about what you know. It's about what you know. And desperation will kill you, because the subject of my story was just desperate. He was just desperate to get it over with. He took 10 years in jail for something a man is walking out of that jail tonight to go home to be with his family, to be on probation for 8 years. It is real. It is a real thing to be a person of faith. It is a real thing to know what you know and to not be disturbed by what you see. Like I said, I cannot describe this in words. This is something that you have to experience. I've been here a long time. I've been through probably 17 recessions. I went through the Great Recession. I went through the pandemic. I went through a coup like all of us did. I can tell you right now, there is no reason to freak out. I have met people who lost everything in the real estate crash, in the pandemic. And I've met people who lost everything, and I have met people who it did not touch at all. If anything, it got better for them. What's the difference? Faith. Faith. not judging by appearance. I don't care who is in office. We're good. It doesn't matter what laws they pass or don't pass. Everything we need is going to come to us. I know this. I've lived through it. When I tell you the 2008 downturn, all the marriages I saw be destroyed because of the money situation, the number of people who were abusing their kids, freaking out because of the money situation, to be a person of faith requires that you understand whose you are. Not just who you are, but whose you are. And knowing that you are protected always and you're taken care of always, no matter how it looks. I will highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. So I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end this right here because I've talked to people about my situation and they're like, this is gonna be a hell of a movie. I agree. This is gonna be quite the movie. I would love for it to be an educational documentary because that's how I get down. Give me a good documentary, but um, I'll take a movie. I'll take a series on Netflix, and not for the sake of glorifying myself, but to let people know something bigger is going on. You know, when you're judging by the price of eggs, when you're judging by how good somebody sound when they give a speech, or you judging by how popular somebody is, like you're missing the point completely. That is not the point. So I'm just a mom in Atlanta with an interesting perspective that I want to share because I understand that when you just take step by step, that's all you can do. Just know that each step is getting you closer to where you need to be. Trust that. Know that it is. You all have a good night.